Longevity is just as important as shiny. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Let's talk a little bit. PlayStation has enjoyed the shiny. They've enjoyed the accolades that comes from making games that look visually pleasing, single player titles and all. And I love these games. I'm all for these games. However, there's something to be said about games with longevity. And it seems PlayStation had been heavily dependent on the other third-party publishers that took the risks. And when the risks paid off, they were just a company that sat down and ate the rewards. They never really did anything to invest into that ecosystem. However, I think they started to make plans to do so, to actually try to get themselves a live service game, but it seems like the whole thing kind of arrived somewhat late. Right now, their game Concord has basically tanked. The game is not only going to, be remembered as a game that failed, that was shut down within 7 days. It's going to be remembered as the game that tried to compete with Overwatch and was shut down within 7 days. It's not a small thing. I don't think this is the end of Concord. Don't get me wrong. I think Concord is going to be revived. They're going to try to change the model from the paid model. They're probably going to try to do something to revamp it. But it still has to, move across the barrier that Overwatch has already created because of the head start that it actually does have. And believe you me, PlayStation's over-reliance on Activision to continue to make their live service money put them in this precarious situation. Let's not forget that, when we saw the FTC trial and the documentation, it was known to us that Activision's boss tried to negotiate a higher profit share with Xbox under threat that he might take Call of Duty off of the platform if they did not negotiate in a way that favored Activision more than they actually were getting a deal from PlayStation. PlayStation was already pretty. They were getting exclusive, content, exclusive things. Even after the acquisition had actually cleared, PlayStation still had some exclusive stuff on the last, I think it was a Call of Duty game. This was just so wild at the end of the day. So here we are. We're wondering, so how is PlayStation going to navigate through all of this with the live service offerings? Since it doesn't have anything of its own. Is it going to rely on Call of Duty? I mean, it can, but it doesn't have any of those benefits anymore. It's dealing not only with that, aspect where it can't launch its own games, or if it launches a game, its own game is tanking. If you look at Helldivers 2, it's getting more and more unpopular as you continue to read the reviews. That's another challenge that they're facing. Its last 30 days, the reviews have all been negative. Not only that, its immediate and direct console competitor now has basically Call of Duty as their own. So they're going to be eating all of the funds and all of the enjoyment that comes from Call of Duty. Not only that, they're going to be giving that Call of Duty game to their own audience at a small subscription fee that may make its own regular purchasers rethink how they're going to play this game on PlayStation. And even if they don't rethink it, it still funnels money into Xbox's pocket. Not only that, Xbox has a plethora of these so-called multiplayer games that did not seem to be juggernauts until Concord came and showed us that even Redfall can be a juggernaut, depending on, from what angle you look at it. And as much as I hate to see studios fail, I think this has been a very poor decision-making, category with PlayStation. PlayStation they knew they needed to close this gap. I mean, some people, might complain and say, well, they went ahead and just bought Activision, but PlayStation also acquired Firewalk. Haven Studios is trying to do what's the name of the game Haven Studios is trying to do? They're trying to make Fair Games, which is a game that I don't know how it's going to appeal to, the audience that I don't know what audience this is appealing to. Welcome to Fair Games, your chance to rob the rich and rebalance the scales. Take it till you make it. Okay. I don't know what audience wants to play that. And I feel, somewhat adamant that anybody who plays live service games might want to actually pick up one more live service game that doesn't seem to really understand its target audience. I've looked at the aesthetics. I've looked at some of the trailers again because I saw them before, and I'm like, who is going to pay for this? Are they targeting millennials? Millennials may not be moved by seeing a bunch of Gen Z wannabes try to, rob the rich. Gen Z might not care enough to basically want to deal with one more game because they already have Apex and Fortnite. And if they ask for money, if they put a paid, model, it may still face the same challenges that Concord has faced. So what are they going to do to be able to get the longevity that they so dearly need more than anything else? Because for the longest time, like I said, they've been enjoying the shiny. And it doesn't seem like the shiny is enough because these games are what they call one and doneers. So they need something that is sustainable. And they need them fast. Not just one, they need a good number because Xbox is already by default just leading among the pack in terms of both of them. For everything that PlayStation can call a live service offering or a multiplayer offering, Xbox has something that is significantly more impactful and much larger. It's kind of scary. Has anybody thought about it? I made this one list, and from the top of my head, I could only think about Destiny 2, Gran Turismo. I don't even know if it does have a live service element to it. I don't play a lot of these games, and Helldivers 2. If there's anything missing, please let me know. But for a Destiny, they simply have Call of Duty. Or you could just say Halo. Or you could just say whatever. For Helldivers, they have Halo. Oh, wait, is it Diablo? Oh, wait, is it Overwatch? Because they found themselves in a position where they got backed into the corner. They bought pretty much some of the craziest libraries that you could ever dream about. While PlayStation is over here, money having third person action RPGs. That's a joke in the grand scheme of things, to be very honest. Now that I'm seeing this from this perspective, because this is the one perspective I haven't necessarily paid a lot of attention to, simply because I'm not a gamer that really plays a lot of these games. But now that I'm actually paying attention and going, yo, what the heck? The whole Black Myth Wukong thing is nothing. It's not even a drop in the bucket compared to the implications of PlayStation not having a viable money maker in the live service category and having to have you wait 4 to 8 years to get a single player game, while at the same time canceling a game that would have probably bridged the gap. When I say bridge the gap, I'm talking about a game that would have really and easily taken PlayStation into what I think was the live service launch that they needed to propel forward. The Last of Us Factions. Factions was basically promised and then canceled. They need a Killzone. They need something from Guerrilla Games. They have Guerrilla Games and they're making, Dinosaur Hunter Simulator Part 1 and Part 2, and then the Lego one coming back soon. Wasn't it Guerrilla that made Killzone? What's such the big deal that they cannot get a shooter off the ground that would try to match these games out there? Ubisoft. They got X Defiant. They did X Defiant and they knocked it out the park. Yet PlayStation cannot knock out a shooter and sustain the shooter without any issues or any challenges. This is the problem I've been talking about, where the press does not hold PlayStation to any account and has just left everything while hyper focusing on Xbox, and by default making Xbox take a huge chunk of the market and just hold a lead by default that PlayStation, before they would even try to get close here, the margin would have been blazed and gone. Because apparently console sales can't do jack squat for you. Even when you have a game like that, nobody will show up even though you have all those console sales, simply because all of those consoles are engaged in playing the games that belong to your competition. That's what they're doing. That's what those 60 million consoles are doing. They're playing games that belong to competitors left and right. Some of the competitors include Xbox. Some include EA. Some Rockstar. Roblox. Some 2K. Then again, Microsoft with Minecraft. Then First Descendant studio out of Asia, and Apex Legends, EA. EA's on this list twice. Oh my gosh. Then Xbox is on this list twice. That's got to be the scariest thing from that perspective, that you don't have that. Now, yes, you're eating your 30%, but at some point, as the hardware continues to become more and more irrelevant, which it's starting to become apparent, having seen that this PS5 Pro rumor has people going, why should I buy another PlayStation 5? Aha. You know why? Because PlayStation and Xbox marketed themselves too close to PC. They then, by default, started making console players think like PC players without knowing that they were thinking like PC players. So when they offered them new hardware, sorry, the virus was already planted. That's a whole different video I'm going to make later on. But this is a very interesting situation. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.